What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Auto Auction Rebuilds. Today, we're back with my 1987 Chevy Monte Carlo SS that's currently pushing 480 horsepower. It's got a lot of goodies under the hood. I've got about $18,000 invested into this car, and we have one problem that I'm not sure we're going to be able to fix. That's right, we're back with the same problem we've had before. This is water pump number 4 or number 5. Honestly, I can't remember, but I want to show you guys. This is an AC Delco professional grade water pump. All right, now I've already started the disassembly process, but do you hear that? I mean, it blew the seal. Look at this, it bent the shaft. No joke, the shaft is bent, and if I could get you down there close enough, you may be able to see the seal hanging out of it. Are you serious? We have a problem, guys. And the problem is, every time I give it the beans, the water pump is the weak link. That water pump shaft. And I've had tons of people sending comments, sending emails saying, the water pump shaft doesn't bend. I've never seen one bend in my entire life. Well, I don't know what to tell you, because this one certainly bends. Every pump that I've put on here has been bent, and it only happens when I give it the beans. And I know what you're thinking, well, just don't give it the beans. Then what's the point of all this work? What's the point of putting an engine that's almost 500 horsepower under the hood? Right? This is like a $7,000 or $8,000 engine. The transmission was $5,000. We haven't even started on anything like rear axles, rear differential, drive shaft. We haven't done any of that stuff yet, and we're still fighting a water pump. Guys, I haven't had a chance to even break this car in. The goal was by now to have put some miles on it, to really get all the little kinks worked out of it for Power Tour. And it should be in paint and body by now, but instead, it's sitting here. Now, I will agree with you, I could stay out of it until I'm done getting the paint and body work done. Getting the stickers put on, getting it all right the way I want it. I could definitely stay out of it and it would be fine. But here's where I'm at, man. If I built this car to be a toy, something that's fun, 500 horsepower, you could really just light the tires up and rip them off, why would I want to stay out of it? That makes no sense. I might as well have left the 180 horsepower engine in it. I talked to Smithing Performance, and what they told me was not what I wanted to hear, but it may be the way we have to go. I'm really disappointed because I worked really hard to get all of this stuff sanded, painted, looking really pretty for the car. And we may have to ditch all of it. We may have to get rid of the alternator. This AC compressor is brand new. The entire air conditioning system is brand new. All of these hoses, that's all brand new. We may end up having to go with a serpentine belt system. Holly has one. It's called like a mid-mount serpentine belt system. The problem with that is it's a different alternator. Obviously, you're going to have a different water pump. You're going to have a different air compressor, and it relocates the air compressor, which I just bought all of these expensive parts for. The air compressor will then be relocated somewhere over here. Now, don't get me wrong, the serpentine belt system will definitely fix the problem. It's about $2,000, and I get to redo all of my air conditioning, buy different hoses, and basically spend a ton more money on this car than I've already spent. So here's what Smithing told me to try. No guarantee, but they told me to try. And Santa seconded this. Without me even telling Santa, Santa recommended this as well. They both said, try leaving some extra slack on the belts. Generally, you don't want to do that because of belt slippage, but in this case, the tighter the belt seems to be the worse it does on that water pump. So we're going to try leaving it a little bit loose. I've bought a new water pump, another one. This is another AC Delco professional grade water pump, okay? We've got ARP studs this time. That's right, I'm going with ARP studs for the pulley. And if you'll notice, and I also bought all new belts. If you'll notice, it's the serpentine belt drive that keeps bending, because this serpentine belt system, it's got V-belts too, but it has one serpentine belt. That one serpentine belt runs the alternator from the crank, and it runs the water pump. And that's all it runs. And looking at my alternator looks fine. But that water pump, man, That's the weak link, and it keeps taking it out. So I'm not going to make you guys sit here and watch me tear apart another water pump. This is really, it's kind of a pain. You got to take the power steering pump off. You got to loosen up the air compressor. You got to loosen up the alternator and take this bracket off. Then there's a bracket that's got to come off from the water pump. It really is, as far as water pumps go on these old school small block Chevys, this one's kind of a pain. So I'm just going to get it done, and we'll come back and see where we're at here in a few minutes. All right. We're about at the halfway point, guys. We got the new water pump, which, as you can see when I spin it, it spins freely. Shaft is not bent. So it's not the pumps, guys. I want to make that very clear. This is not a problem with the pumps. Look at this. Well, great. Same water pump, but take a look, man. Just... Okay, let's do it this way. Hear that? I'm pretty sure the impeller is bent inside. I think the impeller, am I saying that right? Anyway, I think it's rubbing up on the inside. That ain't supposed to sound that way, guys. So I got all the old belts and everything off. We got the water pump off. I've got the new one about ready to go in. I've cleaned up the mating surfaces to the block. This is getting to be ridiculous, guys. Like, I mean, I am becoming an expert at putting a water pump on a small block Chevy, but I'll be quite honest with you, I'm getting a little bit tired of it. I want to make it also very clear, this is not Smitting Performance's fault. This has nothing to do with them. They recommended from the start a serpentine belt drive system, and I was like, nah, I think I want to keep it old school. And believe it or not, it wasn't because of the cost. I wanted old school because I wanted to have the original belts and everything, all the original accessories still on here. So look close to original. I know that all of this doesn't look original, but I wanted it to just kind of look a little original. And I wanted to be able to walk into a parts store and be like, hey, I need the alternator belt for an 87 Monte Carlo SS. Or I need the air compressor belt for an 87 Monte Carlo SS. I didn't want to have aftermarket stuff that you'd be playing guesswork. If your belt comes off and you don't have the numbers written down, who knows what belt goes on your car. I wanted it to be simple, not just for myself, but in case I sell the car down the road, I wanted the next person to be able to do the same thing. If something breaks, just be able to walk into a parts store and get what you need. Once you change to that mid-mount serpentine belt system, I guess it's probably easier, and that's probably the way I should have gone. Looking at it now that it's too late, I really should have gone that route. I should have spent the extra money and gotten that serpentine belt system. I wouldn't be having this problem. We wouldn't be doing this right now. And here's the thing. There is nothing saying that once I put this pump on and I get this whole thing back together, that it's not going to do it again. I will definitely leave the belts looser. I will leave them as loose as I can without them slipping. And I'm just going to cross my fingers and hope that there's enough slack in the belt to take up the torque that's coming from this engine, which is undoubtedly destroying my water pumps. All right, I think it's time to find out if this thing's going to run. I got plenty of spare belts. I'm going to throw all of these in the car, and I'm just going to take them with me. I should probably bring a water pump or two with me as well. And let me tell you, this coolant, this is pretty expensive stuff. It's supposed to be 15 years, 350,000 mile coolant. I put this in because I wanted only the best for the car that I've spent so much money building. Little did I know that I was just going to be throwing it away over and over again. I do have some fuel line here. This is some really good 300 PSI fuel line. I'm going to end up putting this on here because thanks to ethanol, the fuel line that I just installed has gotten rather soft. We've got it full of coolant. It's all buttoned up. And I want to show you guys, you're going to tell me this is way too loose. What do you think? Does that look too loose to you? I think it's too loose. Definitely. But if that's what we got to do to save the water pump, I went with ARP studs this time instead of these. These things are so annoying, guys. These things are such a PITA to get in and leave. So, no. ARP studs. I got some Loctite blue on them. The other belts, unfortunately, for the air conditioner, this is as loose as the belt is going to be. That's pretty tight. Honestly, it's tighter than I would want it to be. Power steering belt, I've got at least a 1/4 inch of deflection on the power steering belt, but it's this belt right here on the air conditioner. Look how tight that is. You could almost make it make noise. I mean, that's tight. Hopefully it'll stretch a little over time. I mean, it will. But if you'll notice, there's nowhere else I can move this. The air conditioning is literally sitting on the valve cover. It doesn't go any further back than that. So it is what it is, man. The battery's hooked up. Everything is good. I should probably go ahead and check the oil. It's been a while since I've done that. And then I guess we'll fire it up. I did get a new battery. I don't know if you guys remember, but the car left me stranded on the side of the road last time. Monkey Wrench Mike and I had to walk back because the old battery was bad. And as soon as the car died with the headlights on, it was over. So I've got an EverStart Max, and I've got the big one. This is the much bigger than factory one. The factory one was about right here. This one's a little bit bigger. This is 1,000 cranking amps and 800 cold cranking amps. It's a Max 78. Brand new battery. Was rather expensive, but I don't want to be left on the side of the road again. So I think we're close to buttoning this up. Hopefully the carburetor doesn't start leaking gasoline again. It seems to intermittently decide it wants to leak gas. So that's fun. We can pull this out of the way. We can put this back over here for now. All of this is temporary. I know I keep saying that, but it is. We're just going to leave all of this sitting right here for now. Let's check the oil. It's been sitting for days, so I shouldn't have to wipe it off. Oil looks good. It's probably going to need an oil change here pretty soon, obviously. I don't want to run it too long on the first oil. I definitely want to change it. Let's just see what the transmission fluid looks like. Hopefully it's still nice and pink, and it is. There's no sign of burnt clutches going on there, which is always a concern when you're dealing with a transmission that has a TV cable. I prefer modulator valves. Much easier than kick down cables. Okay, here we go. It's late. I got to be up first thing in the morning. I got a long drive ahead of me in the morning, so hopefully the keys are in here. They are. We have a dome light. Monkey Wrench Mike and I fixed that in the last video. The headliner no longer falls down on you. Here we go. Wow. Man, she's loud. I forgot. Good oil pressure. Volts had just went up. Hopefully the choke opens pretty quick. Power steering, yes. Oh, you died. You son of a gun. Come on. Come on. You're gonna want to fight me for a minute, I see. That's fine. We'll come back when she's warmed up a little bit. Well, she's running. Everything looks all right so far. Definitely need to put a little more coolant in it. Everything looks good. That alternator belt I'm watching is kind of flopping around a little bit. That's fine. No wobble on the pump. You can clearly see it's good as new. Running on her own. I think it's a good time to close up the cooling system here. And maybe we can take her for a spin. I'm looking, I don't see any leaks anywhere. That belt actually looks like it's doing all right. I am not gonna lean into this thing at all for a while, guys. I'm too sketched out. Maybe give it a little while for the belts to stretch and everything to do their thing there. It's running great. I don't see any fuel leaking. Smitting Performance did send me these. In case we keep having a problem with fuel leaks, we can change the gaskets on the fuel bowls. I'm gonna take my phone with me. That's the least I can do. Let's clear all this off, let's take it out, and let's see if it'll drive. You know what else we should check? We should see if the air conditioning still works. I forgot, this thing's been sitting here about a week. Okay, alternator's charging good. I'm pretty sure it just kicked on. Boy, that voltage dropped a lot. I don't like that. Wow. Let's give it a second. Oh yeah, that's cold, for sure. We may need to look into a better alternator, guys, because take a look at the voltage on this thing. I don't know how well you can see it, but it's almost down in the red. If we give her a little gas. Oh, we got a belt squeal. Great. Oh, that's perfect. I'll bet it's the alternator belt being dragged down from all this load. But you can clearly see AC is, she's spinning. That's good. No leaks. Should be nice and cold, man. Oh yeah, she's freezing. All right, guys. I think it's that time, because I'm out of time. Let's go for a ride. All the way. There we go. Let's see if this radio works. Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's not getting good reception out here, but it works. That's good. Radio is important for the power tour. Let's turn off the e-brake. Remember, we still don't have park. That's something else we gotta deal with eventually. Alternator's charging good. I heard the belt squeal a second ago, so I think the belt's too loose, guys. I'm afraid to tighten it up, though. I don't want to bend another water pump. You know, I'm getting really sick of changing water pumps on this car. All I want is to be able to just drive it a little bit. Is that really too much to ask? Temperature is coming up nicely. It's not squealing yet. Let me roll this window down just a tad bit, full of exhaust fumes. Let's go this way. I am trying to be quiet. It's got a really firm shift. I like it. Really snappy shift. It rides so smooth, man. I mean, it's such a smooth car. You'd never know this thing was almost 500 horsepower if you just drive it like a normal car. You'd never know. Oh, man. I'm not going to hammer on it, guys. I ain't doing it. It's not worth the risk. The temperature just went way down, so the thermostat just opened. Oil pressure's good. Everything's looking really good right now. I'm just going to take it down the road, and then we're going to turn around and take her home. Check for leaks. Call it a day. More like call it a night. All I want is for this car to not break. I need to get this thing into the shop for paint and body work, man. There's a long way to go, and it's already, you know, the middle of April. It's April 15th for me today. I don't know when this video is coming out, but April 15th, guys. Time is running out. I got less than 2 months before Power Tour. This car has to be ready. We've got to get the park on it fixed. We got to get reverse lights. We got to hook up a torque converter lockup switch. We've got to make sure it's not leaking fuel anymore. Make sure it's not bending water pumps anymore. Paint, and of course the stickers. There's a long way to go in 2 months, guys, but the fact is, it's running. It's driving. That's more than it was doing when we started out today. Like I said, I'm not hammering on it. It seems to be relatively happy right now. If it's happy, guys, I'm happy. Well, guys, we made it back into town. Everything's looking good so far, no complaints. I even turned the air conditioning on while I was driving, and the alternator was not discharging, so it seems to be doing all right. I don't want to adjust these belts anymore if I don't have to. We're going to roll this thing back into the garage real quick. let's just double check for leaks. The coolant temp stays so cold in this car, and I'm not complaining about that, guys. That's a compliment. I don't know what thermostat this has in it, but it has got to be really, really low. God, this car is so loud. I'm trying my damnedest to be quiet. All right. You gotta hit the e-brake because there's no park and this car will roll away. Okay, show me. I don't think anything's on fire. Sounds good. Good, good, good. Thank you. Good pressure on the cooling system. She's nice and warm. Belts are still looking good. I know it's dark under here, but the fan isn't wobbling around, the pulley isn't wobbling around, I don't see anything leaking. This car is just, it's a labor of love now, guys, because it's cost me more than I ever anticipated spending on it, and definitely continues taking more of my labor. I should be home right now. It's getting really late. I'm happy. This is good enough for today. I think I feel confident. Battery should be nice and charged up, so she should fire right up again when we shut her off. Let's see. Yeah, first try. Very nice. What if we turn the air on? Will it squeal? Nope. And we're not discharging. Well, not too bad anyway. We're sitting just a hair under 13 volts. Oh. Yeah. Well, guess what, guys? I'm not going to sit around and stress over that right now. I'm really not. I got better things to do. At the end of the day, she runs, she drives, and that is far more than she did when I got down here today. It's full of coolant, another new water pump, another one bit the dust. I really think I am going to grab, just keep on me for the road trip. I am going to grab at least another 2 water pumps and probably 2 more sets of belts. And I'll bring a toolkit with me and everything because God knows I'm terrified of blowing up on the side of the road. Yeah, that belt is way too loose, man. Way too loose. And that one is, there is some deflection in it, but I'd like to see more. I really would. For now, though, I'm going to call this a success. It runs and drives again, and we didn't break it. I know we've made a lot of videos on the Monte Carlo, and I understand a lot of you are probably getting bored out of your mind with it. In fact, the video views really aren't that great on it anymore. What's crazy is the video where it kind of blew up and left me stranded on the side of the road with Monkey Wrench Mike. Now, that video did great. Lots of people watch that video. It's like you want to see somebody in pain, right? You want to see drama. You want to see somebody miserable. I get it. I guess that's what I watch TV for as well. So, hey, whatever it takes, man. I appreciate you watching the videos for real. And we got her back together. I'm happy with it for tonight. I'm going to call it an evening. I'm going to go home, guys. I got an hour drive home, and it's going to be a hell of a day tomorrow because I got to film Copart walkarounds for you guys. So if you enjoyed the video, let me know. Hit the thumbs up button and tell me. Consider subscribing to the channel. If you haven't already subscribed, be sure to drop those comments down below. And until next time, stay safe out there, everybody. I look forward to seeing you all again very soon in the next one.